WEEI Afternoons, right to the guest line.
How many times has this song been remixed and remade and
Are you complaining about the
this song, Ted. Come on, Ted.
I love this song.
Okay.
But I think of who was singing it originally?
Tracy Chapman.
Tracy Chapman.
Tracy Chapman, Cleveland's finest. Come on.
Oh, she's from Cleveland? I
But
didn't
you know
that,
where
Brian.
else she's from?
Where's it?
Tufts
Where?
University.
Is she really?
Oh, yeah. I lived in the
Boston
same
connection, I
apartment.
like it.
Yep. Same apartment.
There you go.
Marshall Street. I lived in the exact same apartment as Tracy Chapman.
And if we're being honest, I think Tracy Chapman actually, it was a remake. She sang it as a remix.
That's okay.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
made
that's
it her
fine.
own.
Yeah, I get you.
Great song.
Great
Yeah,
song.
We all love it. Former Patriots quarterback Brian Hoyer joining us here on WEEI Afternoons. Brian, I wanted to ask you, we saw the breakout game from Kyle Williams, Travion Henderson, making history with 350-plus yard touchdown plays. How enjoyable and easy is it as a quarterback when you give the ball to somebody with that kind of speed and just watch the back go down the field?
I'm trying to think if I ever had that happen in my career. I can't think back to when that happened. And honestly, and I love the guys, the Rex Burkheads, the Shane Vereen's, the Sweet Feet James Whites, played with a lot of great running backs here in New England. None of them are going to catch Travion Henderson in a race. And so it was pretty fun to see him have that breakout game. And you knew it was there. We saw it in training camp. You saw glimpses of it. But, I thought the first touchdown run was so great. It was a greatly blocked gap scheme run. Mac Hollins took care of the safety, and the corner couldn't get over in time. And it's just he needs that little bit of space, and he's gone. And so now you have a home run threat at running back, and sometimes necessity forces you into having to play the kid, and he played tremendous.
Brian, on this show, you had your preseason prediction of between 8 and 11 wins. I think some people disagreed, but I don't think anybody disagreed because you were low on your win prediction. So as they continue to redefine what success means this year, is there anything that jumps out that can slow this train down? Anything that even vaguely falls into the column of I'm still worried about X on the Patriots?
No, honestly, the only thing I think that slows them down is their health. And we've always, Ted, this. It was a statement here for a long time. Nothing's more important than the health of the team. And so, you hear Vrabel and the way he's handling schedules and things like that. Obviously, it's a quick turnaround this week, so you got to get guys healthy. And, you see the injury report. And look, I was down recording a segment with Zolak the other day, and the Patriots were out practicing. Now, granted, it was probably a walkthrough, but it's Monday night. Usually that's when you're getting the scouting report for the team. You're going home. It's a Thursday night game. They understand they got to grind through it, go out and get this win in these spectacular nor'easter jerseys. I got my own one today.
Oh.
Shout out to the Patriots social team. They
Nice.
sent me a custom Hoyers rivalry jersey. It looks incredible, so I'll probably be wearing it on Thursday night there. I'm looking forward to it.
I got to get the Patriots. Don't have my address, obviously.
Did you check the mailroom? We're
Yeah,
going to run up
no,
next break.
I checked. There was nothing there, man.
In all honesty, Ted, I think they need to bring back the uniforms that you wore when you were playing here with the big flying Elvis on the shoulder. I love those things.
Brian, that's people's favorites, and it might be mine too, man. That jersey was pretty sweet. But look, I'm kind of with you. I'm trying to, Dan's question. I'm having a hard time to figure out what slows him down, and what defenses are trying to do, Brian, is to figure out how to slow Drake Maye down. He's had 3 games in a row where he's been pressured 50% of his dropbacks, and he's still balling out. Brian, how do you? I mean, if you're a defensive coordinator, how do you stop Drake Maye? I mean, even though his completion percentage was down, he still had the big plays. I mean, what would you do as a defensive coordinator to get this kid off his game?
Man, honestly, at this point, it's just amazing. Like sometimes I said it a few weeks ago, it's hard to remember he's 23. He handles it so well. And the thing that I appreciated him this past week in Tampa, he took some shots. And these weren't, the ones that we're always saying he's got to protect himself. He's got to slide. No, he was in the pocket. He hung in there. The Kyle Williams touchdown was a great example.
Oh.
Gets drilled as he's throwing it, throws an absolute dime. And then the play before he drops the go ball to Mac Hollins, he got obliterated by Vita Vea. I mean, it was one of the hardest hits I've seen. And he just gets back up and drops a 55-yard dime down to Mac Hollins, who, by the way, ran an incredible route, sold the in-cut, stem to the go route. I mean, Honestly, I don't know. Obviously, we're going to, as the season goes on and they go deeper and deeper into this run that they're going to have, they're going to be challenged. But he handles it so well. He's so calm. He doesn't let a mistake hang with them. It's been so impressive. And ultimately, what gives me a lot of confidence going as they go towards this postseason run is the coaches that are around him. Not just Rabel, but with McDaniels, what he's going to do in the game planning. He had Drake prepared for the blitzes. He had an incredible conversion to Pop Douglas on a blitz where they blitzed. He replaced him. It was a big play. It just seems to me like he's seeing everything really well.
Former Patriots quarterback Brian Hoyer here on WEEI Afternoons. Okay, Brian, as both you and your dad know, I can be a little negative at times.
Oh, boy.
So the one question, if you wanted to give me one concern, I'm interested to see how Drake Maye is going to perform in weather, in cold. We saw it Sunday. It was raining early. I think he started 2 of 7. Tony Romo was like, oh, the balls are sailing a little bit. Well, he's going to deal with wind and snow and rain, and he doesn't have a ton of experience. How do you work your way through that as a young quarterback? Does that concern you at all?
Yeah, look, I mean, Tom was a California kid. Granted, he went to Michigan and played in some of that weather, and I'd always give him a hard time because he'd be layered up when it was cold out. I'm like, come on, dude, it's not that bad. But I think, there's a lot of tricks as far as having to play in that weather, whether it's the layers you wear. Obviously, Tom was infamous for wearing the wetsuit. I learned that and wore it several times in my career. Or, the way you have your muff, whether you have it integrated into your jersey or whatever that might be. And ultimately, I think what Drake has shown is he doesn't let a lot affect him. And granted, look, I'll say this. There's nothing worse for a quarterback than playing in the rain. I would take minus 10 degrees with snow than playing in the rain just because you can't control the wetness or the slipperiness of the ball. As far as when it gets colder out, it's actually better because even when it snows, the ball actually ends up getting a little more tack to it. It's not as slippery. And so you almost kind of got to get through November and into December and say, look, once we get past like the cold rain, which is the absolute worst weather to play football in, when you get to that snow, it's an advantage and you just have to embrace it.
Brian, to stick on the offense, but to move off of Drake for just a moment, the running back room continues to deal with its injuries and issues. So a level of concern from you on the current depth of the running back. But in the same vein, did Travian Henderson prove a little something about what he could potentially be moving forward?
Yeah, and I think we talked about this last week with the trade deadline and things like that. Like, you lose Gibson. You're not sure how long Mondre is going to be out. And there's obviously reports out that they were looking into running backs. No one wanted to trade with them. So that's the hard part. And I think the one thing you got to be excited about is now your rookie running back had a big game. It should give him a lot of confidence. But you're still going to hope that Ramondre gets back because you need depth. Like I said, you can't just now put all of your hopes and dreams on the back of this rookie running back while you're going to try to make a deep run in the playoffs. So you got to hope that Mondre gets back as soon as possible and at least take some of that load off of him.
Brian, you just mentioned the trade deadline. I'm curious what you think, because I've been trying to tell these guys it's not the same as in baseball. It's just, the trade deadline kind of comes and goes. Just your experiences at the trade deadline, the fact that the Patriots kind of stood pat. Are you concerned about that? And how is the dynamic different in an NFL locker room comparatively speaking to a baseball kind of locker room when it comes to not making moves at the trade deadline? How does that impact a team?
Yeah, well, I think it can give the team a lot of confidence. I think it sends a message, hey, look, we're happy with what we have, and we got to keep improving, but we think we have the right guys in that room to go out and win a championship. Now, for me, as a fan / media member, I'm like, come on, I want to see something. You want to see something shiny and new, right? You want to get something to be excited about. But sometimes it doesn't always work out, and sometimes adding something can actually be more of a detriment. And we've seen that in years past with teams where you go out, you think it's going to be this great addition, and actually it doesn't end up helping the team. And so, I think they feel confident with the players they have. They made it clear that they've made some calls. They weren't able to get a deal done, and now you got to move forward. And the other thing I would say is, you're right, Ted. It's not baseball. It's not you can just plug in and play. You have to be selective with the position that you're trading for because, as we all know, football is very intricate. You got to learn the offense. You got to learn the defense. You got to learn the different multiple positions. So, unless you're going to trade for a running back who just gets the ball and runs, or a guy who's going to rush the passer, doesn't have to think much, you don't want to trade for someone who's going to have to learn a whole offensive system halfway through the season.
Brian, in your travels, I'm guessing you saw the idea of a trap game from both perspectives as the good team. So Is this a trap game? Do the Patriots have something to worry about on Thursday night? What are your thoughts on this game?
I mean, look, I think anything can happen on a Thursday night, and that's kind of goes with it as far as preparation. You're not going to get the same amount of time as far as meetings, watching film. The game plans seem to be a little bit smaller, less tactical, and more let the guys play. And ultimately, at least in my experience on Thursday night games, the team who comes with the most energy, that brings the most juice, and executes early in the game, you can take someone's will. And so clearly, look, the Jets made some big trades, but they go out, and granted, it was the Browns. They win last week. And I think, look, they're going to come in here. It's almost kind of a prove the world wrong mentality. And so you can't let them get any indication that they can play with you. So the Patriots need to go out, start fast on Thursday night. And I think the players understand this. They've kind of been having this question for the past few weeks. Obviously not the Tampa game, but some of those other games like, hey, you're winning. You should beat this team. How do you approach it? And I thought Drake had a great comment. He said, look, it's the NFL. There are no such thing as trap. Every week you have to bring it. And when you have that mentality, you don't really look at it as much as a trap game as I respect the opponent. Those are professionals over there too. And we have to bring our best to be able to win the game.
Brian, Tuesday in the media has kind of become power ranking day. And if you turned your attention to Pro Football Focus earlier today, the Patriots ranked 7th, which wasn't the headline news, but the little blurb next to it said, the Patriots could be at the front of the next dynasty. You saw a couple iterations of the last Patriots dynasty, so I ask you, are there characteristics of the Patriots teams that you played on that were winning championships that kind of remind you a little bit of what's going on here this year?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, but I would say the one characteristic that I think is so similar, and probably people aren't going to talk about it. They're going to talk about quarterback and MVP, and they're going to talk, about the coach. I think it's the closeness and the camaraderie of this team, the accountability to one another. I think, you talk about my travels. I was never in a locker room that was as close as a Patriots locker room, and I think that's what you see from this team. And thankfully, through social media, we get to see the post-game celebration, the locker room. Look, a dangerous team is a team who is accountable to one another. And I think they've been able to establish that far quicker than anyone could guess. And you can't quantify that in a Pro Football Focus statistic. There's no stat for that. But what I've seen reminds me of those teams that I was on that were super close, would do anything for each other, and that becomes a dangerous team when you get late in the season.
All right, Brian, if you run into anybody or you see any of those rivalry jerseys, I think Ted would like a 2XL.
2XL, number 52. I got it.
Yeah.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, it's for 52. Never mind. Give me that back.
All right, Brian. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, guys. See ya.
That's former Patriots quarterback Brian Hoyer.